You're watching TV20 News 530 Live with Paige Beck and David Snyder. This is TV20 News in high definition.
Okay, for many of us, the word polyester certainly is synonymous with leisure suit, epitomized by John Travolta's character in Saturday Night Fever. Of course, polyester and plastics have many more valuable uses than just that, and some people in North Central Florida are showing us that it doesn't have to come from petroleum. Tonight's Technology Spotlight. David?
Thank you very much, Paige. Joining me tonight, this is Dr. Stephen Miller. He's an associate professor of chemistry at UF. Now, how are you able to create plastics out of all things wood?
Well, we take a piece of wood, we don't, but we find people who do, and decompose it into molecular units, and then we stitch those back together through a chemical process, as chemists do, to create a polymeric material.
And what's the foundational material that creates the polymers?
So we found a company in Norway that can convert a small fraction of wood into a molecule called vanillin. You can get about 3 kilograms out of every 1,000 kilograms of wood of this molecule vanillin. It's the same molecule that is used in flavoring foods and chocolates. That is a molecule that we then perform two relatively simple reactions on, followed by a polymerization reaction in order to get this new polyester.
Well, what's the advantage? Why do you want to go this direction when there is an established process for creating
Well,
plastics?
there are many established plastics that are out there. The vast majority of them, probably 95+%, are derived from petroleum, finite resources. So we would first of all like to use sustainable resources in order to create our plastics. The second main reason is that we design our polymers to degrade readily in the environment, so that unlike most petroleum-based plastics, which take perhaps 1,000 years to degrade in the environment, ours are designed to degrade on a much faster timescale, maybe a decade, maybe a year, but certainly much shorter than a millennium.
So you're able to kind of craft these polymers into the kind of plastic that could be used for a drinking bottle or a chip bag, that sort of thing?
Exactly. When we design the structure, the primary structure of the polymer, there's some elements into it that we certainly have control over. And in particular, for this invention, we were planning on essentially copying the molecular structure of polyethylene terephthalate, which is a very commonly used plastic in water bottles, in Gatorade, and so forth. So we were somewhat lucky, but also somewhat by design, we were able to create a plastic that had essentially the exact thermal properties that polyethylene terephthalate has. And in principle, it should be able to be used by those people who create the bottles in that precise application.
We're running out of time. Where does it stand in actually getting that done?
So we're a chemistry lab, and we're at a very basic stage. We've created our polymer in the powder form. We are currently seeking collaborators in order to form that material into a couple of things, into thermoplastics and ultimately into bottles, but also into fabrics. We would like to spin this material into a fiber, turn that fiber into a textile, and perhaps make new polyester clothing from this new plastic.
That's something just as fashionable as John Travolta wore in Saturday Night Live.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much. That's Dr. Stephen Miller for joining us, one of the Cade Prize semifinalists for this year. Also, if you have an idea for a future Technology Spotlight interview, you can go ahead and send me an email, dsnyder@wcjb.com. Paige, back to you.